brutal loss. Joe Burrow with the return. 5 takeaways from Cincinnati's defense, an interception, multiple fumbles by Lamar. And that game really got out of hand fast. It escalated quickly. And Willie, you didn't think Joe Burrow should play in this game.
I didn't.
And then he outplays Lamar. What say you now, Willie Colon?
I didn't think the toe was going to hold up. I just did. I thought Baltimore was going to be ready for the fight. And Lamar, what's interesting about this game, man, like Lamar looked more rusty than Joe Burrow. And I was kind of puzzled by the whole his performance and how he was throwing the ball. You know, the ball was all over the place. The operation was ugly. It just seemed like he never settled in. And you saw Joe Burrow, as the game went on, he became more poised, got more confident. The game seemed to slow down for him. He was in total control. And I'm saying, man, I swore Joe Burrow just got back. I swore Lamar Jackson has been playing, just got back 3 weeks ago. And when you see this Baltimore offense, man, Lamar just looks like a shell of himself. And I know he's dealing with the toe, the ankle, and the knee, but he looks like a guy right now that he may have to sit out this game just so he can possibly finish the back end of the season. I'm surprised at how bad the Baltimore Ravens played. I got to give credit to Joe Burrow. He was efficient. It seemed like after that second quarter, he kind of slowed down. Halftime, he really locked in. And the Bengals look like a totally different team after yesterday.
They do. And Coach, he's got that dog in him. Like, I don't even know like a better way to describe. Seriously, like he said after the game, he's like, listen, if I'm healthy, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to play for my teammates.
He proved it yesterday.
Like that's a leader. Now, and again, he's not the guy who generated 5 turnovers, and Lamar does not look right.
And that was without T. Higgins, by the way.
I know, but it's like a weird thing. It was like impressive by Burrow. Maybe they can play spoiler. They can win out and talk themselves into having a chance. But also, Lamar just didn't look right, Coach. Like, there was a ton there on both sides of that game.
No, it's weird. Who picked Cincinnati to win on Wednesday? I can't remember which one of the three of us
I hear you,
picked
Coach.
that. Wait,
Okay.
Who picked all 3 winners on Wednesday? Oh, that's
Oh, you going
right.
you peacocking today?
I don't even have Parkins picks. but when I talked about this,
That's right.
I talked about Joe Burrow last season, and Joe Burrow and the Bengals went on that 5-game winning streak, and going into this game, that I believe less than 1% chance of making the playoffs. But I do believe that they can make a run because there's so much confidence in Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow had only thrown, I think, 35 passes prior to this game. Maybe it was 36. Prior to the fourth quarter, he attempted 42 passes, which has only been matched by Joe Burrow last year. So the confidence that they had offensively with putting the ball in his hands was obviously extremely high. And you heard him talk prior to the game. Why are you playing? He said, because we get a lot of money to play a kid's game, and I want to be out there. And he talked about how important this game was and how meaningful it was to play on Thanksgiving. All those things that the passion that you want to hear from your quarterback. And I think the flip side of that is I do think Lamar is beat up, and I do think he's pushing through of a lot of things that are limiting him. Because when he runs the ball, which he doesn't run very often, it doesn't look the same. And he has 3 games now where he hasn't thrown a touchdown. That's the worst in his career. His 3 turnovers, that's the most amount of turnovers he's had in 4 years. It didn't look right against Cleveland, which I gave him a pass for. It didn't look right against the Jets, which I didn't understand. And now it doesn't look right against the Bengals. He made the Bengals look like the 85 Bears at times yesterday. And we know how rough a season it's been for them defensively.
That's the thing. Like, if Lamar isn't right and he's just playing at a compromised version of himself, ball game.
Yeah, but I think yesterday the 5 turnovers, it led to methodical points for the Bengals, right? And I think when you talk about what Lamar should have been doing is really staying ahead of schedule, ball out on time. A lot of time he was just indecisive with the football. Even that last turnover he had in the first half, he was trying to pull the ball back in. That's a quick layup for him. He just has to get the ball out. And so when you look at this Baltimore Ravens team, you're starting to say, like, man, I think they're in trouble because even though Derrick Henry had that early score, what they really do is they're a body blow team. They lean on you throughout the quarter, but it starts throughout the quarters. But it starts with Lamar Jackson. You didn't really see that, and I think Coach is right. I think the injuries are starting to kind of really take this toll, and I don't know where the Ravens go from this, but Lamar has to be better.
They've got the path, though, of the division. Like, the Chiefs have to get in through the wild card at this point, right? Division's over. Like, Baltimore now can basically just be like, we have to be better than Pittsburgh. Honestly, if they're better than Pittsburgh, they get into the playoffs. If they get into the playoffs because they're better than Pittsburgh, they get a home playoff game. And then they could be getting into the playoffs with a home playoff game without the Chiefs in it. Like, Coach, that's how they're looking at it, right?
It is how they're looking at it, but it's hard to think that they're going to walk through the rest of the schedule. They've got to play Cincinnati again. They've got to play. Unfortunately for them, they've got to play Cincinnati again.
They do, and it was a wild game last night. But we got the game coming up this weekend on Fox. Matt Leinart, part of Big Noon, joins us. Ohio State and Michigan. In case you haven't heard, it's been a while since Ohio State won one of these things. And joining us now on our Black Friday special, one of the stars of Big Noon, Matt Leinart. He's in Ann Arbor. He had his Thanksgiving dinner, and he's ready for the game. Matt, happy Thanksgiving, a day late. Thank you very much for making the time. I know this sounds crazy because you guys play for championships, but you've been in rivalry games, and rivalry games matter. 2,191 days since Ohio State won one of these things. Do you have any sense that Ohio State fans care more about winning this game than winning a national championship?
Yeah, I think the Ohio State fans are delusional, and Coach Meyer is going to hate me for saying that. But I don't want to say this game doesn't matter as much, but the way the college football playoff is structured and the schedule and all these things, it doesn't matter as much because Ohio State can lose this game just like they did last year, and they went on an epic run and won a national championship. So I've been a part of this rivalry now for a decade on the road. I've seen it, the hatred. Genuinely, these teams hate each other and the fan bases and all of that. But it is a different feeling this year. And it means a lot. I mean, in particular, more for Michigan this year, because if they win this game, they have a real shot of a playoff. But for Ohio State, listen, for me, I would take a national championship every year. That's the goal. If it meant we lost to Michigan, I just would. And I think they would too. So I don't know. I think they're delusional. I think they need to relax a little bit. They're coming off a national. They've won 15 straight since the Michigan loss last year. They're the best team in the country by a wide margin, in my opinion. But as you know, and what we saw last year in this game, man, it really doesn't matter. The rankings, the numbers, the stats, it doesn't matter. This game it's just different when these two teams play.
Well, fan is short for fanatic for a reason, so they're not always going to be rational. All right, two QBs, very contrasting styles. Weather could play a factor in this game. Which quarterback do you trust more, Sayin or Underwood?
Yeah, I mean, I trust Sayin more going into this game. And let me just talk about both guys really quick. It's really been somewhat of a different path for both of these kids to kind of get to this point. You look at Bryce Underwood. They've kind of struggled throwing the football all year, but really the last couple of weeks, you go to the Northwestern game. Here's Julian Sayin. I mean, Julian Sayin's been terrific all year, but Bryce Underwood, the Northwestern game, a little sloppy, but had the game-winning drive, started to build that chemistry with Marsh. And then last week against Maryland, probably put his best game together. Now he's going to see Matt Patricia defenses disguised. They're going to do everything they can to take away Marsh. He's going to have to get through progressions. I truly, truly believe his legs are going to be a massive factor in this game. Whether it's weather or not, he's going to have to run the football. And then for Julian Sayin, he's been terrific since week one against Texas. Like, he's been steady. He's a legit Heisman Trophy candidate. He doesn't make mistakes. He's just smart. He's decisive. He doesn't move around a ton, but he can. But he's never played in this game, and we saw what Michigan was able to do against Will Howard, who was an experienced quarterback last year. So he's going to be he's going to be tested for the first time all year in the game, on the road, in this rivalry. So it's sort of two contrasting styles and two paths to get to this point. Both star quarterbacks, both young, both have bright futures, man. But it'll come down to quarterback play in big games like it normally does.
So you mentioned if Michigan wins, they've got a shot and a path to the playoff. It's the rivalry. We know what is at stake in the game. But they're a significant underdog. What's a path to Michigan pulling off an upset on Saturday?
Yeah, well, I just mentioned Bryce Underwood. I think he has to be special, and that goes without saying. But he just has to. He has to make plays. He can't turn the football over, and he's got to run the ball 10 or 15 times in this game. His legs have to be a factor. It just goes without saying. The number one thing, though, for Michigan, they have to score first. They have to start fast. When they score first this year, they're 7-0. I don't care if it's a defensive touchdown. I don't care if it's a punt return or a kickoff return. They have got to figure out how to start fast. They're both their losses, SC this year, Oklahoma earlier in the season. They get behind early. They get behind 10 or 14 points in this game. It's over because they're not built to come back. It's just they cannot play come from behind football. So that's going to be the biggest thing. You start fast. You get the crowd, 100,000 people involved. And then you start to slowly put a little bit of doubt in Ohio State's mind because that's what's happened the last couple of years. That's their recipe. They got to play great in this game. I think they know that. They're certainly capable, though, based on what they showed in this game a year ago.
Well, Matt, I know it's going to be a who's who in Ann Arbor on Big Noon. You guys do a great job, man. The chemistry's off the charts, and you guys are going to have a party. Thank you for spending some time with your Black Friday with us. We'll be watching.
Thank you. Real quick, I want to shout out. This isn't Ohio State Red. This is Redondo Union Red. My son's in the CIF finals tomorrow night. I'm gonna make the game. Division 5, go Seahawks. Let's take home a championship. I had to get that in there real quick.
Hey, consider him shouted out, man. We got to give Division 5 some love. Thank you, Matt.
Hell yeah. All right, happy Thanksgiving, bud. Have a good weekend.
Thanksgiving. Enjoy the game, and we will be watching.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.